Hi, my name is Laura Vasquez, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on Agrippina Vaganova, and with a primarily focus on her methods and a little bit of historical background for her. So Agrippina Vaganova was born in June of 1879 in St. Petersburg, Russia, to her Russian parents. And as a young girl, she was already surrounded by the Old Imperial Ballet, or the Mariinsky Theater. Her parents were ushers inside the theater, which meant that they led their patrons to their seats so they could watch the performance. So from a very young age, she was already kind of romanticizing the idea of the ballet theater. She was admitted to the Old Imperial Ballet School in 1888, and from what I read, Vaganova struggled a lot as a dancer. It didn't come naturally to her, and even from her greatest mentor and even inspiration, Marius Pepita, in a lot of his writings, he wrote pretty mean comments about her, how she was kind of dreadful to watch, she lacked grace, lacked talent, and despite all of this, she really pushed through and became who we know today as Agrippina Vaganova, with an entire school named after her. So her story of success came from her variations that she would perform. She became known as the Queen of Variations. She was so good at portraying all of these roles, able to take them on and just fully perform them. And with that, she became a prima ballerina, which is one of the highest titles you could have in dance. And after 1 year of becoming a prima ballerina, she retired and began teaching, which is where she really shined. As a teacher, she wrote the Fundamentals of Classical Dance, which has 6 editions now. So that means it's really, really good, I guess. And she took those methods, the Old Imperial Ballet, as inspiration, and some of like the French romantic aspects, and created a dancer that is very versatile and strong. A lot of the Vaganova method focuses on extension through the trunk. Like this entire box that you have here is where all your strength comes from. It focuses a lot about openness and holding yourself while also being elegant and strong. Vaganova wanted to create dancers that were able to, be these extremely talented, versatile dancers, but also be able to teach the newer generation of dancers, and that was really the focus of her teaching. Her classes are very planned out and very coordinated. There is a expectation to what will happen in class, and an expectation of the dancers knowing why they're doing what they're doing in class. It's what we see typical of like the strict ballerina Russian teacher, that the students are perfectly in line, they know what's happening next, kind of came from her. It's a style of teaching that really works, as we can see from a lot of her famous students that came from both her and the school, George Blanchine being one of them, who kind of took what Vaganova was teaching and threw it to the side, but came up with his own methods of dance, and he was able to do that because of the versatile and great training that he received as a student from her. Or Sylveta Zarkova. I don't think I'm saying her name correctly, but I'm pretty sure if you follow the dance world, you know how amazing she is and how her feet are just like croissants and they look awesome, and she's really amazing because of what she learned at the academy. The academy was named after her later on. I'm not quite sure what year, probably would find that, but that is just how much of an impact that she made there. At her time of being a young dancer, she wasn't sure if dance or the ballet as a dance form would survive in Russia due to the revolution in 1917. Since ballet is such a big thing culturally, it was backed by the czars at the time and funded. But after the revolution, dance kind of shriveled away, was put on a back burner, and she really fought tooth and nail for this, and she was able to create basically her own little empire of Vaganova dancers, which I think is really amazing. She died in 1951, and even after her death today, we know Vaganova method. And I was just gonna show like a little tiny example of what like a class would look like. Okay, so Vaganova method really focuses on the fundamentals before moving on to the final steps of dance, which will be the grand pas de deux, which is the paired partner dance. So you need to be perfect and conscious in where your body is before you can dance with another partner, to avoid injury or just to look really like you know what you're doing. So something that's really focused on in the Vaganova dance is the tendu. So you would see exercises of just constantly tendu, and it just seems really tedious. I'm not a ballet dancer, but I'm trying my best. Just constantly over and over until it is perfected. It's just a real focus on the emphasis on how you carry yourself and your carriage, and just like the little things, like something as minute as that, if you're really trying, it kind of burns. So that's kind of just what a class would look like for her. A lot of the stuff that she taught is able to be carried on, meaning that her students went on to be these great choreographers and great dancers, and all accredited to her. The Grand Pas de Deux that I mentioned is the final step of the graduation process for the students, where they dance in front of their teachers or maestros, and in a paired performance between a male and a female thing, because that's what dance is. It focuses a lot on the performative aspect, but doing it really well. So that's all that I have for Agrippina Vaganova, an icon in dance herself, someone that was able to pave a pretty successful path for ballet and have worldwide renowned schools named after her. That is incredibly competitive and small, and just as difficult as you could imagine, because it is a hard dance form, but it's a beautifully done, revered dance form also. So that's all I have. Thank you.